and to our ranking member for holding this hearing today. In 2024, New Mexico exported over $10.5 billion worth of goods, up from less than $5 billion the year before. Over 60% of those exports last year went to Mexico and were worth over $6.5 billion. Mr. Greer, I appreciated our conversation yesterday about your priorities and thoughts regarding the United States Trade Representative Ambassador's role in directing trade policy in this country and its impact on our economy and American workers. As you know, the 2026 USMCA review is approaching, and President Trump has threatened tariffs on Mexico. What specific changes to the agreement would you advocate for?
Thank you, Senator, and I also appreciated our conversation yesterday in your office, and I know that being a border state, that gives you unique insight into our relationship with Mexico, which, as you also acknowledged, is complex, across not just trade, but security, foreign policy, et cetera. As we enter into this process of taking a second look at USMCA, which again was built into the process deliberately by the administration and Congress to make sure that the agreement remains relevant and beneficial to Americans, I think we need to look closely at things like the rules of origin to make sure that third countries or foreign countries of concern are not inadvertently or deliberately benefiting or free riding on the agreement at the expense of America and our trading partners. I want to make sure that the type of market access we've secured in Canada and Mexico are things that are actually acted upon. We all know we have issues with Canada dairy, corn into Mexico. We have had issues with energy in Mexico. These are things where our trading partners need to be held accountable, and it's important for the political and economic sustainability of that agreement and our trade relationships with Canada and Mexico that these issues be addressed and be addressed in a timely way.
Are there any specific changes that you could name today, Mr. Greer, former Chief of Staff, USTR, under the previous Trump administration? You were instrumental in the drafting and negotiating of these documents. You're one of the few people that has intimate knowledge about these documents. Maybe most well-versed. Are there any changes that you would point to that you would change?
Yes, I certainly would. I think I would want to, I mentioned the rules of origin. I think we should look at the rules of origin for automobiles and aerospace and other things. And I think we need to look and see if we need to have any kind of restriction on, content or value added from foreign countries of concern or non-market economies, countries that benefit from unfair trading practices or subsidies, and somehow get their content into goods that are going across the border, and they benefit from the agreement without taking any obligations. And so I think it would be worthwhile for us to look, working with the unions, working with industry, working with our exporters, to see what we can do to make sure that the agreement benefits American workers and American businesses as opposed to businesses and workers in third countries.
Would you protect or change the language surrounding the clauses in the trade agreement to workers as it's currently drafted? We worked closely in the first Trump administration with labor to develop what I think is the most ambitious labor chapter in any agreement. Senator Wyden, he helped develop a lot of that language, including the rapid response mechanism. So Mr. Greer, as my time is expired, would you protect that language?
I would certainly protect it and see if we can improve it.
I appreciate that. Now, given that Mexico is New Mexico's largest trade partner, how will you ensure that increased tariffs do not disrupt my state's economy?
So something that's very important to look at, and again, we have history on this in the first Trump term, where we had a very aggressive and robust trade policy, where inflation actually went down over time, unemployment went down, and so as we're implementing, if I'm confirmed, I'm able to help implement a robust and pragmatic trade policy. At the same time, the administration is going to be implementing pragmatic energy policy, competitive tax policy, regulatory policy, permitting policy, and all of these things need to work together to result in growth across all demographics, which is something we achieved in the first Trump administration, and we can do it again.
Not to oversimplify, but trickle-down economics will help my state because of the president's approach to the economy if these tariffs are enacted?
Oh, Senator, I don't believe at all that it's trickle down. These are the kinds of, whether it's tariffs or market opening, these are benefits that go directly to workers who are working on the line in factory, or people who are working at a farm and are going to export this. This is broad-based growth. This is how it happened in the first Trump term. There was broad wage and income growth across demographics, and I think that's the kind of growth we want to have.
Mr. Greer, can I get your commitment that if these tariffs negatively impact the businesses in New Mexico. I have your word to get that corrected.
Well, Senator, I want to hear from you on what those impacts are and what we can do to make sure that they are able to benefit from the growth.
I believe your word to be good. Do I have your word that I can count on you to make sure that New Mexico's businesses don't get hurt by these threatened tariffs?
Senator, I want to make sure that they don't. I can't guarantee economic outcomes, but we can create incentives that are designed to benefit workers and the businesses they work for. And I want to work with you to promote that and pursue that. We can't, I can't guarantee everything the market's going to do or that wages do, but we can do what we can to make sure it's broad-based growth.
I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.